Why is it not played? Oh, okay, we're live. For some reason, it didn't
We're
play.
just live. It just said live.
I don't know why it said that. I don't know what I pressed wrong, but it's Big Hairy News.
Yeah, kia ora, guys. Big hairy news. Big sexy news time.
No mai hara mai e te whānau. Sorry that you got to miss out on that awesome intro. Just got to see my face looking confused. But yeah. Welcome to Friday show. Yes, happy Valentine's Day. And I'm joined with my Valentine, Sexy Rogers, today. Since it's Valentine's, I guess.
Yeah, glad to be back, guys. Thank you, everyone, for your support last time. It was fantastic. And I'm just baffled anyone's allowing me back on, honestly. So, oh no.
Oh, I don't know what it did.
Mate,
there.
we lost you for a second. Yeah, you just froze on a huge smile, but at least you look gleeful.
Oh, so that's good. Awesome. Yeah. Well, anyway, how was your week? What have you been up to?
Well, I just got back from a trip in Japan. It's sort of been a long time ambition with my dad and I. We'd just been wanting to go skiing, since I was in high school, and we've sort of finally got around to doing that at this point. And it was an experience. I think 10 years ago I would have enjoyed it more. I'm about five seasons out of practice on my snowboard, so probably a bit more face planting than I expected. But no, it was lovely. Went up north to Sapporo. It was the snow there is just you just can't fathom the amount of snowfall they're getting. It's nonstop and it's like up to your neck.
Damn.
It's just it's crazy. And it's not as cold as you think either. It was only like, during the day it was like -4, and I was walking around with like a sweater. So
Okay. That surprises me because I would have thought it would have been quite chilly if it was -4. Like if it's -4 here, I'm like dying of how cold it is. So
yeah, and in the evening it would drop by like 10 degrees. It dropped to like -14 or something. So at night it definitely got down. But
damn.
No, it was pretty cool. And we were in a small village near Niseko, which was pretty much rivaling the population of Dunedin. Just this tiny little snowed-in mountain town. It was insane. Everyone was driving so fast. And my dad and I were just like, we can't believe how fast they're driving. How do they not crash? And I think it was just the fact that we were never near a road. But pretty much every other day we saw crashes. So it seems to be a common affair.
Oh, okay.
And plenty of near misses. Yeah.
Wow. All right. I guess. I mean, that sounds kind of terrifying if you ask me, but good on them, I guess.
And they just seem to ignore all the rules because I'm sitting there in this bus, right, and people like overtaking, and then I look out to my left and I see a sign that says no overtaking, and I'm just like, does anyone here follow the rules?
Yeah, I mean, they're locals. Locals never follow rules, especially driving rules.
Well, what I know, they seem to have the most passive attitude to non-smoking in their country. It's just we've put signs everywhere, even like I'm talking like on the street, like every couple of meters there's just on the footpath there's a no smoking sign. Everyone smokes. So no one
crazy.
It just no one seems to care. So it's I don't know.
Sounds like it was an interesting experience to just go and be over there, see the kind of culture. And I mean, it's cool that you guys got to actually do a bit of a bucket list thing. Like, I definitely want to go to Japan. That is definitely on my bucket list. Like, I want to go and see all the Persona 5 spots for anyone who knows Persona 5. But yeah, definitely sounds like it was a great trip. And I'm glad you were able to make it back in time to join me. I obviously would, as you know, I was cutting it pretty close today since I thought I would try to do Valentine's Day activities and the show on the same day. And as we all know, that doesn't always go the best. But I was getting free tattoo. So I'm pretty stoked. For anyone who's curious, I got the little mushroom guy over there by Finn and Jake the human. So I can't show you guys because it's bleeding and we'll probably get the video taken down if I show that. So, but yeah, this was actually down at Southern Cross and they had Union Tattoo. We're doing free tattoos for Valentine's Day for couples and friends. So me and my flatmate thought, why not? Let's get a free tattoo. And
What
I'm
does that
pretty
make it?
stoked. We got they're matching, so you get the same.
Oh, they're
ones.
matching. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you have to get the same ones. They have to be
Okay.
matching. So yeah, we
I
got
see.
the little mushrooms, and they are adorable. So I'm very stoked about that. And I mean, free is a very good price, especially in this economy.
Oh, we do love free.
All right, how's everyone in the chat? It looks like we've got heaps of people already here so far, chatting away. Looks like everyone's having a good Friday. Hopefully. I thought, why not? Since it's been a bit of a week, do we want to start off with a couple of memes just to kind of get us into?
Oh, yeah, why not?
Just shake us loose a little.
Shake us loose.
So we got this one that all of these were from the Discord, and if you've posted any memes today, they won't have made it into this because I did this yesterday. So we got what's the matter? It's the same distance, and as we all know, that's a pretty good representation. This one. It's a bit of a mouthful, but our golden visa for investors will supercharge growth in New Zealand economy. You mean the same scheme that was already tried in the UK, Spain, Australia, and was cancelled because it delivered no real economic benefit, but did increase the risk of corruption and organised crime? What I would say to you is no, you're not getting it, and my timing is my thing is different. So yeah,
what totally I would say to you is that's a pretty decent meme.
I know, right? I love political memes. This one, I've been seeing a lot of Canada memes. So yeah, could Canada join the EU? Canada, mega, the European Union. Which would be funny if you had like Brexit where they've left the EU, and then Canada's like, can we come in?
I've kind of zoned myself out of the international sphere right now, so I'm very oblivious to a lot of what's going on. But I'm assuming this makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So are they flirting with possibly doing that?
I'm actually not sure on the exact news, but I know there's a lot going on down in Canada because obviously, you know, they've got their alt-right rise, a bunch of bullshit going on there at the moment. Like, I haven't been 100% locked into all of the international news. Like, I've been still following some of the Americas, but Canada hasn't been on my radar as much recently. I love this one. Just, why are you in my dad's chair? Like, I'll be honest, I love the memes that have come from this. That kid just looks.
He's got like the Chewbacca belt on his chest or something. Like, what's going on there?
Oh yeah, little fanny pack or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
This was great. What was promised and what we got. It is definitely a McDonald's advert right there. I'm sure. Did you see Ems eat that? Did you see Ems eat? Oh yeah, Ems ate one of.
That was a thing.
Yeah, you'll have to. So for anyone who didn't see that, you'll have to go back on one of the live shows. I think it was last week. Ems got a hold of one of them and ate it, and ate way more of it than I thought you would have. But hey, I don't know.
Thumbs up. Was it a thumbs up?
I think it was. It wasn't really a thumbs up. It was more just like a. It's like a mic. It basically sounded like it was the equivalent of your shitty microwave meal from the supermarket, which honestly they're not very good.
Yeah, maybe the pies aren't so bad then.
Shit. Well, there we go. Oh yeah, this was actually just a screenshot someone posted of just the kid picking his nose. That's just funny.
That would be me. That would be me at that age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did you hear about Chris Luxon wearing a t-shirt over a suit jacket? Because that has been popping off a little bit.
There's
a fashion faux pas, and so obviously someone's changed his t-shirt to say National Chicken.
He just has no like self-awareness. Like, will this look good?
I'm a man of the people.
He's a man of the people. I wear a t-shirt over my suit.
And this isn't really a meme, but trust me, it's gonna flow into the next one. So poverty exists not because we cannot feed the poor, but because we cannot satisfy the rich. Looking after the 1%. National 2026.
I wish Mr. Burrs was in charge. He gets stuff done.
Right. And then this will be the last one when we'll go into the news. Luxon, David Seymour, whatever bullshit distraction tactic he's using now. And I mean, we've definitely seen a lot of people commenting on that so far, which I'm glad because we need to keep talking about the fact that Tim Jago was the president of the ACT Party and is a convicted sexual offender. And David Seymour knew about it, even if he tries to tell us that he didn't. So,
and he was inappropriately messaging kids on Snapchat. No connection, but...
Yeah, no, because like that's definitely what you use Snapchat for, is messaging children. Anywho, I think we will go into our first news story tonight. We're going to look at a couple of videos here from, actually, I think I've shared the wrong screen. We'll do that one first. For anyone who's aware, I'm sure most people are aware now of the Golden Mile, which has been part of the Get Wellington Moving project that is relatively controversial and has had many issue over the years. Well, they've actually just revealed the plans for the upgrades. And so we will have a look. Did I share the right screen? Yes, I did. And this is just a little bit of a look at
the final design. Incorporates a lot of feedback into it. And I think that it is a good mix and blend of trying to cater to everyone's needs. Throughout Courtenay Place and this entire intersection, you'll see a lot of greening, rain gardens being displayed here in particular, and we've incorporated quite a bit of greening throughout the day.
So for anyone who's not sure exactly where this is right now, this is where Courtenay Place and Kent Terrace / Cambridge Terrace meet. And there's like the Weta Workshop statue that's just about to come up. So that's whereabouts you're
design. And here, as we swing on to the start of Courtenay Place, you start to see what the outdoor dining could potentially look like. A lot of this outdoor dining is flexible and can be moved depending on what hospitality actually requires at the time. You'll see that the pavers are all new pavers. We're replacing all the pavers to be slip-resistant pavers.
So that corner is Tory Street intersecting Courtenay Place there.
We've got a lot of street furniture and new public seating that we'll be providing. The street furniture is designed specifically for this location in terms of what we're trying to bring into this location. And this particular element is the Oranga. This is a space where people can take time during their day to have lunch, to sit down and relax. It's also a space for events where you could have public events. There'll be power available. We've got lighting through GoPros that will shine onto the Oranga and could be edited for events that are happening, as well as the St. James building.
One of the biggest complaints that I get, apart from the pipes, is Courtenay Place sucks. Well, this is going to completely change it in short term.
And I mean, that is so true.
Courtenay Place sucks.
And I mean, that's the thing is, so far, like, I mean, I'm going to let her talk in a minute, but we'll pause here for a second. But basically, I'm actually really excited for everything that I've seen so far. Like that Oranga, I mean, it's basically similar to what we have on Cuba Street already, where we've got a bit of a, little thing where performers can perform.
I don't know about all this woke shit though, man. It's like, bikes and public seating, and like I just don't see how any of this is gonna bring business, we need parks and stuff for cars. I could see about 3 or 4 Wilson parking buildings fitting right in there alone,
I know, right? Yeah, I mean, the businesses love to complain about stuff that happens on the Golden Mile, but actually that leads really well into what Tori's going to talk about, so we'll keep playing.
Campaign, the long-term city that we're going to have will be, so appreciated in a few years' time. It's something that we've heard loud and clear from businesses is to not do the entire strip right at the same time. That's why it's going to take a little bit longer, right? So they want section by section. And they want it planned out so that they can plan for it as well. I know it's a challenge, and if that's, it provides a risk to my mayoralty and restanding, and I accept that. And if that's how Wellington decides, I'm okay with that. But I believe.
And just to be honest, I am so impressed. Like, I am so impressed that we have a mayor, and I'm proud actually that I have a mayor who is willing to put her career and like her next mayoralty at risk, because she's like, no, forward thinking is way more important. Like actually setting us up is so much more important, that I'm just actually proud.
Yeah, and look, I don't know anything particularly about the project itself, but what I know about Tori Whanau is just pretty much since she's been in office, she's gone from not being on my radar at all to just being like at max respect. Just the way she's handled everything, she's taken it with grace and a little bit of sass, which I like too.
Yeah.
You know, she's got a bit of attitude. She can punch back, which is great too. And I love how she's just completely gone along with this whole Crown Observer thing. It's based on the initial report, it's almost seemed to completely sort of alleviate her of any wrongdoing, more or less. The guy sort of said, you know, this was like a perfect storm, I think he described it as.
Yes.
At the time. Yeah. And yeah, look, this is just great, and just it's just sticking to your guns, isn't it? Just sticking what you believe in. Like, you're not focused on getting reelected. You're focused on doing what you think is right for the city, and you're trying to do everything you can to the best of your ability. I love it.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that's the thing is that, you know, like you said, because I think the thing for me is that I think what the word you're looking for is she's assertive. She's assertive. And I think that's why some people do kind of, you know, when women are assertive, people tend to react not always the best to that. And I think that's why sometimes people have tried to come for her, you know, like with the drinking stories and all of that, you know, dumb shit. But like, she knows what she's about. She's sticking to, you know, what she believes in and the values that she holds. And she's not wavering on them for anyone else. And she's literally like, I am willing to risk my career, a career in which she actually invested some of her own money into, to actually like, you know, to actually do, because she won lotto when she was young, and she managed to invest that money quite well. So she was really lucky, won lotto, and has managed to do really well on it. So like, honestly, Tori Whanau I love her, whether people like her or not. I love her.
That's
and
crazy.
I'm really excited for what, you know, Courtenay Place could look like, because it's not it. It's been getting worse every year.
And let's just pray this isn't another sort of Aaron Hawkins story, where, you know, they get outed and just the next person sort of starts reaping all the praise and rewards of all the hard work of the previous administration.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that's why I'm really hoping that, you know, people aren't going to let this be a reason. And I mean, I'm sure people like, you know, probably like TPU or someone is probably like, I know that they're like, there's been, you know, campaigns against the Golden Mile for a while. And I know the TPU is definitely, you know, one of those people that just doesn't want this for obvious reasons. And so, yeah, I'm really, really hoping though that like, it's supposed to actually start in April. I think we've got one more small clip that we can probably just play real quick. That's just got a tiny bit more information in it.
Wellingtons Golden Mile in late April. The first part of the project focuses on the intersection of Courtenay Place, Kent Terrace and Cambridge Terrace, and will take 8 months. Businesses, which will stay open during construction, want compensation, but that is not in the council's budget.
We'd love to be able to offer compensation, but we just can't afford it. That would have a direct impact on our ratepayers.
Instead, council officers are investigating support packages along the lines of the $1,500 micro grants offered to businesses during the cycleway construction on Thorndon Quay.
Look, it's not going to fix everyone's problem. We know this, and but what we know from a couple of hospitality businesses telling us directly that actually even a grant of $1,500 can make all the difference.
It comes at a tough time for Wellington, which is already paying for failing water infrastructure and facing more rates increases.
These transformational projects, the return on investment is significant, and we've seen that overseas time and time again. You know, on average, you know, a return of $14 on the dollar invested, and in my view, it is a short-term pain for a long-term gain.
But
she's such a good communicator too, honestly. She's so clear and direct. It's great.
And that's it. I love, she's just very clear. She's like, yep, you know what? We'd love to be able to give you guys compensation for stuff, but like, that's not realistic. We can't do that. We'll do what we can. We'll try to work with you, you know, like so that they can roll it out in sections so that they can try to work with people.
Not to mention, there's just something to be said in itself, I think, for giving a bit of an overhaul to the part of the city. It brings new life, it brings new mana to people, it just helps sort of give that feel of reinvigoration into, your local community. It can just be great, honestly.
Oh, absolutely. And actually, funnily enough, I actually saw even on I think it was Facebook when I was unfortunately scrolling through that thing. I did see some people in the comments being like, obviously being anti it and being like, oh, this is just blah, 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 blah. And then someone pointed out, this just kind of looks like a certain area in Auckland that's always thriving with pedestrians and business. So why are we villainizing it when we've already got these things in different places?
After moving into Auckland City, into the heart of it, I can tell you how important those areas are and how much it does bring the community together. And there's just people there you can just go chat, and it's almost like a lightning rod, because I think that's why we've said it multiple times on here. In Auckland, you just run into people and I think it's a lot of it's to do with sort of those attractions, just those community attractions, bringing people together into those little hubs, those social hubs. I think it all just helps keep people, together. It's great.
You've actually just reminded me. There is also actually, maybe we'll do a look into it later on. But for anyone who's not aware of it, they're actually called third places or third spaces. So places like parks, places that communities can go are called third places. And they've actually found that a lot of there is correlations between a decrease in those spaces and social cohesion, social connectedness, because like you say, they are important spaces. We even see teenagers these days. They don't get to go down to the skate park or the mall or the library like you and I might have done when we were teenagers, or go to JJ's and hang out with their friends, or Sucre.
I was playing with Legos on the floor. That was me.
Well, if you had friends, I guess. You know what I mean? Those other people at your school. But it's definitely one of those things that we need those spaces, because while people think, oh, well, they're not being used 24/7. So neither are offices. We need to have these spaces available so that people can have access to them and use them, because, and also, let's be real, we need these kind of spaces more than ever.
People would also use them 24 hours if they could, or they have the opportunity. Trust me. I was out here New Year's, and there was literally, it's midnight, and there were parents with their kids in the park, in Myers Park, on the swings. And I was just like, all right, so people just use it when they can.
Absolutely. Yeah. Exactly. And that's why I'm very excited to, see this continue. And I'm sure we're going to see a bunch of people being anti this project, trying to I'm sure we'll probably see some new stuff coming out, trying to villainize it. Because I actually saw an interesting comment. It's probably a bit too far back for me to find, but they were mentioning that they were surprised that Stuff was even putting out a article, piece about this, because apparently Stuff have been involved in some of the things against these types of initiatives. So, although, man, I don't know if you guys noticed, but the audio quality on that Stuff video was so bad. I know that they've just taken over the news, but whew, it's rough.
Making people fun.
It's something we'll definitely keep an eye on. I'm sure we'll talk about it more in the future, but I just definitely wanted to talk about, because I'm so excited for this project. It's going to be so good. I think we've got a few super chats, so we will just get to those real quickly. Or actually, this isn't a super chat, but this is just one I starred because I liked it, saying Wellington should keep this mayor. And I 1000% agree, because she has done so well. And we need future thinking mayors in every city. Kiwi bird for $2, or Moa more Shinderu, Japanese ski field. And then we got Mr. Arvids. It's sad how we're impressed with the bare minimum. And you know what? That is so true. So true, bestie. So true.
We're just going to be happy to get some boats that can cross the freaking channel,
Boats in this economy? Oof, I don't know. I don't know if we can do that. That seems like
I hope it has rail.
Oh, see, now you're just getting woke on me. What is this? Oh yes, there we go. I'm just trying to figure out where my the next one's stuff, but at least this one's the actual news, so the audio quality won't be so horrible. What tab am I on? Bloody hell. There you go. All right. Let me open that up. And then we're gonna. So for anyone who hasn't seen it today, Kinleith Mill confirmed today that there was 230 job losses. So we will let them talk.
130 workers at Kinleith Mill near Tokoroa were given the message today that they were losing their jobs. A union negotiator responded with a 3-word message for the Prime Minister: "You have failed." Joe Gallagher said there wasn't universal support among the coalition for heavy industry. Mill owners OG Fibre Solutions are continuing with their plan to cease paper production and are moving to a focus on pulp. Senior political correspondent Jenna Lynch reports.
Stephen Reid making the call, letting people know it's over.
When they shut the paper mill line down on around the 30th of June, that's going to be me gone.
This guy is way too chipper. I would not be that upbeat when I'm losing my job. I'm sorry. Good for him. You're muted, Mage.
He's 21 years old as well. That's a 21-year-old, guys. Like, how ratchet. And he's just so wholesome. But yeah, let's keep going.
Life will move on.
Yeah, good on him for being chipper.
Stevens will be one of the 230 jobs to go when its paper operation closes at the end of June. And that doesn't include all the contractors.
I don't know if I'm safe or not.
I just feel sorry for those guys with the young families and the paper mill.
I'm okay. It's these younger ones that have started here and they've just, same too, young family, but just bought a house and now they're in the shit.
The impact will be felt not just by the families, the knock-on effects to the small Waikato town of Tokoroa will be enormous.
Major affect the town, like I said, businesses like supermarkets, the butchers, like building businesses, electrician businesses, carpet layers, no painters and all, won't be able to afford to do it all again now.
This town was built on this mill, and this is a bitter blow for the South Waikato.
Air 2 negotiation specialist Joe Gallagher gave the impression the writing had been on the wall.
In our view, they haven't taken anything that was said seriously. There's clearly been a lack of capital investment in this plant over the last 10 years, and that's further been exacerbated by the power and the gas price. As of last night, megawatt was $300 a megawatt. You just can't run a heavy industry plant on that.
The union had a pointed message to the Prime Minister.
You have failed. Your government has failed. You do not care about manufacturing in this country. You do not care about New Zealand workers, and it is a disgrace.
In a statement, OG Chief Executive Dr. John Ryder recognised it wasn't the news anyone was hoping to hear. He said the focus would now be on the transition plan to close the paper machine and continue pulp operations. He added that the company was looking forward to working closely with the government on next steps.
3 News understands Regional Development Minister Shane Jones spoke with the CEO in early February to try and come up with a plan to redeploy.
Yeah, Shane Jones was definitely trying to help. He definitely was trying to save their jobs.
Oh my god! And that union rep just said it all. Basically, just you failed.
Let's hear that again. Should we replay it? Yeah. I want to replay it.
As of last night, megawatt was $300 a megawatt. Just can't run a heavy industry plant on that.
The union had a pointed message to the Prime Minister.
You have failed. Your government has failed. You do not care about manufacturing in this country. You do not care about New Zealand workers, and it is a disgrace.
And I mean, you're right. And he said it all.
Writing's on the wall. But what did Labour do?
Oh, yeah. And
they didn't do anything.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing is, it's really difficult to not only, see, let's be real. That man is clearly more knowledgeable and more articulate than Christopher Luxon. That guy would make a better Prime Minister for this country.
Put him on the podium.
Oh, mate, I'd follow him into battle for sure. And that's what's frustrating is you've got all these people who are in the spaces like E2 who are trying to, stand up for people, who are trying to actually help, the squeezed middle, the lower, all of that. They're the ones that are in these positions, not on the 9th floor.
Yeah, and what he said about just you haven't listened. You haven't listened to us. That seems to be a common theme going right back to the negotiations with police. Even just that no one listening to anything these unions are saying. They need help. They need support. They need, more funds. But just has anything been done? Has anything happened?
Other than undoing what Labour did, honestly.
Yeah.
That's really all that's coming to mind is just whatever they've undone. That's really what, or I guess fast track. You could argue that fast track is something they have done. I don't.
Maybe they upped the paper budget in the government.
And this is the thing, though, too, is that this, like they mentioned earlier in the thing, Tokoroa is not a very big place. 230. And like they said, they don't know about the contractors either. So that number could actually be higher. That is a lot of people to lose jobs in a very small community. A community that already has, issues and, lower socioeconomic issues. I've got, my mum grew up there. It's not a super wealthy place. Like they said, that town was kind of built around those industries. So to just completely gut them and do nothing is just a disgrace.
And I'm just seeing just someone talking about the union losing membership and thereby losing power to affect change. I mean, that's not necessarily true. To a certain extent, some people may move on and leave the union, but just because people lose their jobs does not mean that the union just doesn't give them the boot. They will support them as much as they can through this. As well as E2 is actually quite big. Just coming through Melbourne Airport, they're doing a big rework there, and they got a bunch of workers there with their E2 shirts on, so they're not just restricted to New Zealand. They operate.
I wasn't aware that they were actually outside of New Zealand. That's really cool.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they actually operate unionization on businesses in Australia. I'm not sure of that, but they definitely support New Zealand workers abroad. I know that much.
That's really, really cool. Yeah, no, and that's awesome. Also, I think Kiwi Burb here brings up another good point is that Tokoroa relies on forestry. So, this is going to impact that too. There are so many aspects. And, like they were saying, it's not necessarily the older people, they've got job experience. They've probably got things built up. They're not as struggling. But it's those young ones, like that 21-year-old we saw at the beginning, who, just I feel like his smile was probably a little, trying to hide the pain. But the young people who are just trying to do jobs. And this thing is what? Now they're going to have to go on the benefit that are having more sanctions put on them. They're going to get made to feel bad for as well.
Yeah, you're going to have about 200 people coming in on wins. And sorry, guys, I just some water went down the wrong way, so I might sound a bit funny.
Don't drown on the show, please.
I'm sorry.
I don't think ACC will cover that. Yeah.
Do they not? Does ACC not cover drowning?
Well, if you drown yourself, I don't know, maybe. Also, I see here, if we can subsidize an aluminium plant, why can't we do the same for this industry? And I wasn't even aware that we actually did subsidize an aluminium plant. So that's a really good point. But maybe it's because aluminium is metals that are mined out of the earth. Maybe that's why. Maybe Shane Jones was like, yeah, do it. But maybe because it's trees. I don't know. All I know is that it's really horrible and it's a devastating blow to, the community. And I just hate to think how long it's going to take them to really recover from the long-term effects of this, really. That's what worries me, is that there's going to be a lot of families struggling.
But there might be a short-term uptick in people applying for wins, which will look bad. It'll look bad on someone.
Yeah, but also I never wish wins on anybody, honestly. Like it
Yeah.
is such a demoralizing and stressful position to be in, you know. People love to be like, "Oh, well, you're getting free money from the government." Well, first of all, everyone pays taxes, including beneficiaries.
Yeah, and look, I'd been under both a national and a Labour government. When I was under national, it was constant, like, ringing you up. You know, you got to come in, you got to, like, go through all this arbitrary bullshit. Like, you know, you got to show all the jobs you've applied for, and like,
Mhm.
even if none of it's nothing you want or nothing that is suitable for you.
Yeah.
But when I was under Labour, I didn't hear a peep from them the entire time. I think I was unemployed for about almost 2 years. It might have been longer than that. But I eventually managed to find a full-time paying job and settled in the right position, and I'm doing great year and a half later. So, you know,
Yeah,
sometimes that's
exactly.
all you need is just a little bit of time and just to get back on your feet, and that's all it takes, you know.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing is it's an investment in the long term, you know. It's like they say with like if you get COVID, right? They say don't push yourself, don't try to go too hard and try to get back into things too fast because you might actually do more damage and actually basically take longer to recover. It's the same premise. Sometimes people need a bit of time, whatever situations are going on. We support them for a bit and then they're able to actually go into a full-time job rather than maybe end up in a part-time job and having issues. Like,
Yeah, and if it's someone who's not able to hold a job, like sometimes it's maybe better to start looking at what's going on inside their life and what might be preventing them from holding that job, and maybe starting there. Like that can be a better approach too. Starting with your mental health, starting with the place you live, just your style of living. It can all have a dramatic effect on just holding a job.
well, yeah, and I think like that's a really good point too, because I think with that whole appropriateness of jobs is that like a lot of the time it's not necessarily that also that people can't work, it's that they can't work what's available because like realistically not every person can fulfill every job. It would be great if we could all just mix and match and be able to do whatever, but that's not realistically true. You know, some of us have, say, chronic pain issues and we can't do certain jobs, or some of us have narcolepsy. You know, there are people who literally fall asleep because they have no choice.
I'm
don't want
lazy and take
them-
shortcuts. You don't want me in some kind of safety job.
You know
You know?
what? That is actually so true. That is actually a very thing. It's like if you know that about yourself, if you know you can't pay attention like that, then yeah, we don't want you in a safety position.
No, you do not.
So yeah, and like that's why it always it's infuriating me at the moment that we're just continuing to see more and more areas where this government is enabling either by directly cutting jobs or indirectly cutting jobs by not helping and intervening. So not only are they continuing to grow their beneficiary numbers, they're continuing to target them, because we actually have another story a little bit later we might touch on very briefly about, you know, Kaingaora being attacked, tenants being attacked again. Like,
and there's no excuse for any of this either. Like we went through COVID and we kept all these businesses afloat. And we managed to do it then. You can do this now with one freaking paper mill, you know. You could, the government can intervene. They have the opportunity to do that. They're just not. So
yeah, I mean, they intervened and gave landlords tax cuts. So, you know, they could have done this. And like we keep saying, everything is a choice. Everything they do is a choice. This is one of them.
And again, this is privately owned, isn't it?
Yes. Well,
Yes.
Kinleith,
And that's nothing that's sort of, that's something that's not really, you know, sort of ringing out throughout the media when it happens, when privatization fails, when private stuff fails. But that's not going, oh no, this doesn't work. But when public services fail, it's just the biggest deal.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, I think I need a bit of a meme though after that. I'm feeling
memes.
I'm feeling a little angry again. I mean, this government always makes me feel angry, but how about actually this one dropped while I was out today. So I was looking at this while I was in the middle of waiting for my tattoo. New Zealand Labour obviously came out with the fire, as they always do. So let us just get the video to start again.
To you. We asked you on our Facebook page to write the government a Valentine's Day poem. Here's what you had to say.
Roses are red, National hasn't a clue. In 18 months, I'm breaking up with you.
Red are the roses, so are the cherries. Do you think we'll ever get you?
I thought the BHN crew would appreciate that one.
That's a pretty good
Stephen
one.
made sure to, I liked that one.
Is that real?
Dear National, oh how I hate to write.
Roses are red, violets are blue. We want Labour back and not you.
Roses are red, and I have a hunch that Seymour won't care to fix our kids' school lunch.
Labour is red, National is blue. Labour has some brains, National hasn't a clue.
Labour is red, National is blue. Luxon's favourite line.
What I just say to you is
no boats, no show. Snap election we go. Luxon is weak, Winston is past it, Seymour is abhorrent, the end.
That's a good one too.
Right.
Yeah.
I love an anti-joke, you know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah.
I mean, for those of you who remember, the anti-joke chicken meme format was one of my favorites. If you know, you know.
I kind of love the slight dig at Labour too. Like Labour has some brains.
Yeah, I noticed. Did you notice how she read that in a way that was like Labour has some brains, not Labour has some brains? I thought that was very. I noticed that too because it's like, I see. Also, I realized since I didn't do it at the beginning, I should probably do a little bit of our housekeeping plug. So, if you would like to support us, you can go to Patreon for as little as $5 a month. Scan the QR code on screen. You can buy our merch at bhnshop.nz. That is the only place to buy the merch. Nowhere else. And if you buy it from anywhere else, it's probably going to scam you.
Is that the real Nikki? The one that went around the world collecting trash? That one?
Yes. In what, the 1800s?
Jesus.
And obviously, if you want to join us on the BHN Discord, you can come hang out with us. We have fun. We share memes. Yeah. All right. Let me see. I think we've got a few chats that we'll get to. We got Mr. Arvids for $2. I only wish work and income on this government. Oh wow, that's a threat. That is a threat, sir. Also, speaking about that, do you know what I found really interesting when I was at Wins the other day? There's like fuck all staff, eh? And I think you and I were having a little bit of a conversation about how they seem to have no one on the phone lines because they're probably trying to get you to not want to keep staying on the phone. Every time I've called them recently, it's either been an 80-minute wait or it's just straight up, we can't take your call.
Yes, just we cannot. Sorry, hang up.
Yeah.
That's the answer. Yeah.
And sometimes the wait time's only like 60 minutes and it's like, no, go away.
Yeah.
Bye.
And they could implement a callback service, which is quite common, but it's more of a hazing tactic.
They do have it.
Well, they turn it off when they. Yeah, I think they turn it off when they can't meet demand. They're like, we just can't keep doing callbacks, and so they sort of have to haze people out. And there was that similar thing, I think, when I was trying to get through to IRD. Essentially, I pressed just every button, and the only thing that actually got me through to a human being was saying, "I own a business." So.
Oh, I mean, suspicious, but also not fucking surprising.
Yeah.
All right, it's in the ballot for $5. Plus, it's impossible to work 2 part-time jobs from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., for example, at the same time, but often expected to make work and Wins won't buy you a TARDIS. Exactly. That's the thing, is they often expect you to be able to work jobs that, like, yeah, it'd be great if we could all work between certain hours, 9 to 5, 9 to 3, whatever the hell, but life isn't like that. And if it was, then you wouldn't be able to go to the supermarket at 10 p.m. at night. So, like, you know. We got Kai Matara for $5. Roses are red. I would love a mint. Let's make this a one-term government. Oh, I like that.
That's
Thank
cute.
you, Tamatha. Love your mahi, by the way. Always watching your mahi on TikTok and Instagram. It's great. Keep it up. All right. Shall we go into the next bit of the stories? So this wasn't so much of a story specifically, but I saw this video through Tamatha Paul's Instagram, and there's something that Christopher Bishop says that kind of just tweaked my little brain, and I went, okay, that's really interesting. So I'll just pop this up and we will have a listen. Oh, actually, I think I gotta restart it. Loves to autoplay them. I gotta turn that off.
1,000 net new public homes in 2026, as promised by Nicola Willis and the Prime Minister just now.
The member needs to listen to the answers I'm giving. I just said we have delivered over 2,000 net new social houses in only 15 months. Again, we will honour that commitment because we are going to grow social housing. But if you define public housing as houses owned by the government, that is one thing. We have a broader view of social housing.
Tom, I get that smirk off your face.
But did you hear that? Did you catch that?
No, I didn't. Sorry, I must have missed that bit.
He said, if you define social housing as houses the government owns, that is one thing. However, we have a broader definition. What the fuck?
Yeah, I wonder what their definition is.
I mean, we'll let him finish.
Gutters, maybe?
In this country. And we think public housing includes not just government-owned houses through Kāinga Ora, but also the community housing sector.
I seek leave to table the commitment that Nicola Willis signed at the forum of over 500 community organisations to build those houses.
Good.
I love the way she's basically like, can I please just bring the absolute facts to the table and submit all the evidence? Because what the hell?
Something that is already in the public arena.
No, it's not.
Well, how can it not be?
It's not publicly available.
Just a minute. No further commentary. If it's something that is an election commitment, then clearly it is in the public arena.
It's not online. It's not publicly available, this form.
It must be at some point.
Which, I mean, why wasn't it publicly available? I mean, that's also kind of an interesting thing of like, okay, well, they're trying to keep it away.
It indicates people know about it. It's a publicly available document.
I'm going to just save the House myself a lot of stress, and the House a bit of time. Leave us orders or any objection.
Will.
And then old fucking Brownlee just doing his usual. I don't.
I'm shutting it down.
I hate doing my job. Why
That's
am I
just
here?
That's his answer to everything. Just something happens, like, I'm shutting it down. We're stopping this.
Also, I just seen here in the comments, apparently she showed it on her TikTok, so that's really interesting. I'll have to actually go find that. Or if anyone knows where it is and wants to check it on Discord or something like that, feel free to. But I just thought it was so crazy the way he's like, oh, if you define social housing as houses the government owns. What? What the? Okay. So it's woke to, is it woke to think that the government should like actually own houses?
What about public benches? Is that social housing?
Oh, I mean, like, it shouldn't be, but unfortunately it is
It is right now.
It is the backup social housing, so you know, you make a joke, but because actually funnily enough, it was your city council today. Funny you mentioned that. Your city council posted a
What's Mayor Brown been doing?
Well, actually, this one was mad. They actually released concern over over the homelessness. So yeah, they actually.
I'm glad he's concerned.
Well, okay, it says community committee, so like let's not.
Oh, community committee.
Yeah,
okay.
and this is like from the Auckland thing, but like we're not going to give it to him. That's not. That's not him. Because the number of people known to be sleeping rough in Auckland has risen by approximately 53% in the past 4 months, which wasn't under a Labour government, was it? Or was it?
Yeah, this is all
Strange.
knock-on effect. Labour ruined. They just left everything in ruins. Do you remember that giant pile of rubble that was left in front of the beehive? Do you remember that?
No, I don't actually.
No, well, yeah, it was there, but they got rid of it. It was Labour. It was a giant pile of shit. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, because I mean, apparently, the number of people known to be sleeping in cars, streets, and local parks has risen 53% from 426 in September of last year to 653 in January this year. And so they're obviously calling and kind of being like, okay, so you've gotten people off of social housing and stuff, but again, this is a question a lot of people have been asking: is where are they going? They've also got there's Auckland's homelessness data that you can go and have a look at if you're interested. But yeah, it's very concerning, given that we also then see that recently the government announced that they're going to be cracking down on kāinga ora, which I'm not sure if you've heard about since you were out of the country, but
I did hear something about that. Like, yeah, I think I did.
Yeah, so basically they're so-called cracking down on kāinga ora tenants who accrue over a certain amount of rent arrears.
That's right.
Yeah, so they're obviously
debt.
putting it under the guise of like, well, it's unsustainable levels of debt and they won't be able to pay it back, so it's actually good for them. However, I was listening to an interview with it was actually from Pacific Mornings Radio. I don't know where they're from, so I'm not sure where in the Motu they're from, but it was actually an interview that they did, and they were talking about the fact that only approximately, I think it was actually, I'll just find the bit of the audio. It's about 3% basically of people who are in kāinga ora homes actually do get over the threshold of what they're talking about. And so I actually did the math. And that's actually only approximately 2,000 people that actually have a higher level of debt than so we're actually reaching those insane levels of rent arrears.
So
2,000.
What you're saying is we're focusing on the 1% here.
Yeah, the wrong 1%.
Yeah.
Well, it's technically a 3%, I guess. But
I guess
yeah.
3%.
Yeah. And that's what I found ridiculous, is because they love to say these numbers of like, 3% of kāinga ora tenants have over 12 weeks rent arrears. Yeah, that's 2,000 people. And like, that's really not that many people. How many people are probably doing worse things that's white collar crime? Don't know, because we don't for it. But it would be nice if we did.
Yeah, we got government that can pick on just a bunch of poor people who literally cannot pay their rent.
Mm-hmm.
And every time someone tries to go after the 1%, just rich billionaires, people are just like, don't hit them. They need that money.
Yeah, and I mean, even just the
So
way that
important.
people have villainized and like kind of even just like made kāinga ora something to be, like disgusted or ashamed of. Like, it's just insane to me. I'm like, oh no, what? Housing people. Okay, cool. I'm glad they have a roof over their head. I'm glad they're not sleeping in their car. I've slept in my car. It's fucking horrible. Being homeless isn't fun. It's actually quite a horrible time. So people don't want to be homeless. They want to have the things they need and not worry. But
I'm shocked that that's something that people want in this country. A house, a roof over their head. You kidding me?
Right. How
you can
about
just sleep under the stars like our forebears.
We'll do a quick meme break and then we'll go into, actually real quickly, we're going to go into next something that Citizen Gold brought up to me on Blue Sky. But for now, we will do a few more memes. Hey, minor. I love that. Honestly, so good. So good. That's why I'm leaving it on the screen for a little bit longer.
Yeah,
actually suggested by one of the Discord members. They asked if someone would make the meme, and I got my flatmate to make it. So shout out to my flatmate for being my graphic designer. Don't worry, I got your back. And
Thanks,
yeah,
flatmate.
he does. Honestly, this is how I feel some days, especially when I'm having to research stuff for the news. It's, whew. There are some days where that is the perfect piercing.
Do you
Now
ever
this
heard
is
of the
actually
lobotomobile?
no.
It's like this horrible doctor that went around. He made like you thought the lobotomy was bad. He made sort of a shotgun lobotomy, and he went around with not even like official tools. He went around with like some ice picks and would just lobotomize people. I think without anesthetic too. He did live demonstrations, and it was called the lobotomobile. So everyone go look at that. It's a
That's funny.
shocking piece of history.
That's crazy. And here, actually, this is 3 separate memes, but they all came from JC and the Pigeon Cat. So that's why I put their little name in there. So give credit. And I love these. So we've got 70% of Kiwis believe New Zealand is becoming more divided. Parentheses, 3% less divided. Social unity, division polling. Then just David, I did that. Luxon, New Zealand economy took developed world's biggest hit. I did that. Kiwi Rail ferry cancellation costs nears $500 million. Nicola, I did that.
Someone needs to also add new theories and then just crickets. Because no one did that.
I don't always lie. Oh shit, there I go, lying again. Also, I love that this is also an old meme format. Like, what a throwback.
This is like, 2008. This is great.
Easy.
What he was called the world's most interesting man, I think the meme was called.
World's most interesting man, you are correct. This isn't really a meme, but someone on Instagram said woke is an acronym for whatever offends Klansmen easily. And I can't think of a more perfect description of how that word has been weaponized. Because it really is. Like, they love to think that they've got you. They really don't, though.
That's the best description I've heard for woke so far, I think. So it sounds fairly accurate.
Mm-hmm. And this will be the society if it was a dystopia run by PDF files. And if you're wondering what's dystopian about the picture, that's just real life. If you don't get it, that's the joke. I just got to make sure that people get it. Also, I see people want to snip the memes. Maybe I can upload the PDF files into Discord if you guys really want the memes. That seems like a lot, but you can too if you want to. But yes, let us go into a quick little bit of story next. So I was our favorite Citizen Gold, who we always see in the chat. Tagged me on I know, right? Tagged me on Blue Sky about this article. Prospectors hone in on region looking for gold in Otago. Because as we all know, Shane Jones' fast track bill now means we're going to have this bullshit to deal with. So in red, you've got
Pat's favorite line goes, "I love gold."
Gold. But also, Citizen Gold actually was like, it would be really interesting to see this map overlaid over like Department of Conservation sites. So it's really janky, but I have done it. It's not 100% accurate, but it's pretty. It's as close as I can get. So y'all have to bear with me because I'm very amateur when it comes to this stuff. So I'm ham-fisting this to make it work. But so here we have. I'm going to actually. You guys get to see me do stuff. So this map at the bottom is the Department of Conservation's. I went to their website and I put in all of the basically areas that are protected. So there's I think 3 separate types that I think.
And that's the dark area, I assume, is it?
So all your blackened, the patches of blackened area, as well as actually this part here that's in white, is actually also a light yellow color that was under the Department of Conservation's different listings. And then if we go up, you're going to start to notice that some of these colors are overlapping, aren't they? So I think Citizen was onto something. As you can see, yeah, obviously it's not exact, but there's definitely crossover in a lot of patches.
And I'm glad you looked into this too, because this does go back into sort of old rumors that I'd heard about, but never really looked up. But you hear about it down south all the time, like how there's still a lot of gold, but it's just under protected land and stuff, so we can't get
right.
You know,
okay, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah. So it's not the first time I've heard this proposed, like as a possibility, but it's interesting to see that they're actually looking at potentially prospecting this
These
gold.
areas.
So
yeah, especially because like this pink area here is in quite a lot of dock area. You know, like there's a lot of these areas, like even this one up here by Queenstown. Like this
What
is
was the-
quite.
what was the
terrifying.
key again? I'm wondering the colors. What
Oh
what the
yes,
colours
so
mean?
the key actually, I'll just go move it over. So you've got blue is exploration, red is prospecting, yellow is mining, green is exploration, and pink is prospecting. And then I'll put that back.
So this isn't just gold necessarily. Then it's sort of extending more to general minerals.
It definitely could. To be quite honest, I
because
think
it just said minerals. But
yeah,
I
well,
don't
and
know.
that's the thing is this article is focusing on the gold aspect, but I mean, when it comes to mining, they're going to try to find whatever
Well,
they can.
That might be a part of the sales pitch too. Like, hey guys, check out all this gold and other things. Just say that quietly.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, was really interesting, and yeah, I really thank you to Citizen Gold for pointing this out, because yeah, I mean, like I said, it's janky, but you can all kind of see the rough map and how it's definitely going to overlap, and that is something that I am obviously very fucking concerned about, especially with the fact that they've been making changes in like the RMA. You know, they've removed the treaty from 28 different pieces of legislation, likely ones that are affecting this, because they knew they had to do it. We're going to see them go into these places and just absolutely rape our earth, because that's what it is.
And this is all the stuff behind the curtain that they don't want you to see. You know, focus on the big floating head. Don't look at the stuff that's just going on in the background. You know, just ignore that. This is all positive stuff. It's going to contribute to the economy, guys. The economy is the most important thing,
right?
You know, you can have an economy without a planet. It's fine.
Yeah. Who needs it? And that's the thing, is they do it under these guise of, oh well, businesses, and we need it for this and we need it for that, and it's like we really don't. We really don't. What we actually need to do is actually start being more sustainable and stop like living beyond our Earth's means.
Funnily enough, I'm looking at this old quote now. Just people, forewarning, this is not a real quote, but it is beautiful. It goes, "When the final tree has been cut down, when the last river has been poisoned, when only after the lone fish has been caught, only then will we find we cannot eat money." And that's attributed to being a ancient Cree Indian prophecy. I did some digging. It's not. I think that goes back to trying to spread Mormonism in the area or something. So this whole thing was trying to get like Indian people to part with their money, basically. like, see, it's not that important. Go give it to the church, you know. So, but it is a beautiful quote.
It's a beautiful quote with a crazy background.
Yeah, it's an interesting background, and you see that perpetuated to this day. People still calling that a Cree Indian prophecy. It is not.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I can't remember the full whakatauki, but there's a whakatauki in Māori proverbs that essentially says, you know, like when all the people are gone, all that's left is the land. The land will always be here. We won't. We'll be gone one day. Our species won't exist. This planet will. This Earth will. Like, it's here for a long time. We aren't. We need to we need to check ourselves, honestly. The audacity of humanity sometimes. All right, we're going to go into a couple of quick oral submissions. So these are some amazing, well, one's an oral submission and one is Mariamenos. Obviously, if you watched last week, you would have seen Mariamenos, and I thought, why not have her included again, because she's bloody awesome. But first, we're actually going to cover this is a oral submission for the that's opposing the Oranga Tamariki Responding to Serious Youth Offending Amendment Bill by Teirangi Cleaver, who is a poet, but also just an awesome activist. Like I've been at protests with them with her before, and like I've chatted to. I was talking to her after Hannah ripped the bill. That's right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And it says she's an artist? What kind?
Yeah. So she's a poet, and she does a lot of poetry. She's actually going to be performing at an event called Soapbox, which I'll have to find the poster for later. But so if you want to see her perform, she is performing soon. But however, we shall very quickly have I put on the screen. I have. We shall listen to this amazing.
My kupu comes from my puku. So here we go. If punishment could heal, I could guarantee our Tamariki would ascend as saints. If prison bars could twist, entwine, and carve their way into flesh, become part of their bones, they would stride tall, strong in their perfected forms, walking toward a future brimming with promise, radiant and unbreakable. But that is not our reality. In the real world, wounds are not mended with the ragged scraps of failed experiments, because have we forgotten that we have been here before? Have we forgotten the frail whispers of mistreatment, of abuse, the countless voices smothered by a suffocating silence? Do they fade as we turn our backs? Do they dissolve into stacks of documents once this house issues an apology? Tell me why we drag our Tamariki into the past, parading them through old, failed legislation, recycled, reused, rebranded to reduce their humanity to a label and a sentence. How much further back are we willing to go? Tell me why we let them dangle by a fragile thread swinging between 1840 and today, unable to tell where one ends and the other begins. Tell me why every helping hand this country extends to our children is a fist. How is that improvement? When we see failure, we must seek what thrives. We cannot remain blinded by the illusion of progress through punishment, that we throw people away in pursuit of prosperity. Punishment is parasitic. It will worm its way into our Tamariki until it is all that they know. We cannot allow trauma to once again arrive on the shores of their lives and demand that they hand them over. We cannot let them believe that New Zealand cares this much about rangatahi that even militarized camps get a child-sized version. No pity for the brown boys on RNZ that spent their night in jail beds because they're in gangs, and we do not wonder why they're in them. We do not wonder what happens when all a child hears is "you do not matter," but the patch says that you do, but violence says that you do, and with these short-sighted initiatives, we become the loudest "you do not matter" of all. How perfect must they be before we even begin to consider calling them children? How many times must they audition for our empathy before we realize they are not broken, but that legislation like this tells them they are, but that the label young serious offender is a title strong enough to turn into currency, to turn into legacy? Say it loud and it becomes the only thing they hear. Say it often, it will become their fate. Say it enough and it becomes their truth. Sticks and stones may break their bones, but names will lock the cell behind them. Children are not disposable. We cannot punish our way to justice. We cannot punish our Tamariki into having a stable home, to having support systems, to having food on the table, education, and unconditional love. Unfortunately, these are luxuries, and this bill fails to address why. It fails to address past trial and error, but most importantly, it fails to address mamai. I implore this committee to reject this bill, reject the lie that people must be broken in order to be rebuilt. Our Tamariki are not test subjects. Our rangatahi are not to be disciplined into dust. Our children are not to be punished into silence, into submission, into statistics. We cannot build prisons for the soul and call it progress. Find solutions that grow. not ones that bury. Kia ora, thank you.
Whew. You got to let it play all the way through, because I was not going to interrupt that.
What I would say to that is National has been very clear from the beginning, and they will not support this bill past the first reading.
Fuck! Damn!
I mean, that would be his answer if you fucking said that to Luxon's face, wouldn't it? So
true. But I think what I actually found really, I kind of just wanted to point out in what Teirangi said is that, there's a really, really powerful part in what she points at too, of, the labels that we give these children are the labels and the identities that they take on. This isn't the only space that we see this. Even in psychology, there is a disorder called oppositional defiance disorder. It's a controversial disorder, and many people do not think that we should label children with it, because what often happens is children get labeled with this disorder. People inherently treat them different because of that label, treat them like a naughty child, be keeping eyes on them and perceiving them through a different lens, and that lens often villainizes them. And so by giving a child that diagnosis, you can actually end up making things worse for that child. So this is something that we have seen in so many areas. It's often why we don't actually diagnose certain things before certain ages, because that can have negative impacts on the way people perceive and treat someone.
And just that the mention of unconditional love was sort of that it is something that we need to apply more, especially not don't guilt people for not being poor or even just being lazy, because look, ultimately at the end of the day there's going to be those people, but we still have to accept them as a part of society, and we still have to love them all the same.
Absolutely.
All the rejects, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I mean, everything she said was just perfect, and that's why I've actually just got on the screen at the moment. If you are interested in seeing her speak, Soapbox is coming up tomorrow, so if you're in Wellington, head along. But yeah, it's just frustrating, and like she said, this is just reusing and recycling the same failed things that we've seen time and time again. Like you said earlier, what's this government actually doing? This is what they're doing. This is what they're actually doing. That's what they're actually achieving. And look how that's been going so far. It's been going really bloody great, hasn't it?
Well, at least some nice things are coming from the treaty submissions. That was beautiful.
Yeah, that is true. Speaking of, we will go into Mariamenos. So for those of you who aren't aware, Mariamenos is in Te Pāti Māori, and so this video that we're going to be watching is actually to do with her talking on the second reading of the 7AA bill, on the repeal of 7AA, and she's also actually introducing a new bill, which we will also have a look at. So I'm going to add that in. We'll do our fun little reshifty.
Minute window here, Te Pika, where the coalition government must listen to me even if they can't hear me. So, and it's to say this, to object profusely to this shockingly flawed, ignorant, trauma-informed, sanctimonious piece of legislation. It's a nonsense. When Dame Whina Cooper said not one more acre back in 1975, we saw our people rise to the occasion. We need only reflect on the change her words incited to understand what it means for our people. In today's climate, when I say not one more mokopuna. This poster sits on the wall in my office, and next to it another poster, which reads 1/3 of mokopuna in state care, whakapapa to Ngāpuhi.
I just want to sit on that for 2 seconds. That number is heartbreaking. From one iwi. That is insanity. Just,
This reality means that mokopuna no te tai tokerau are left trying to fight alone in a system that denies the very essence of who they are and who they come from. This threat is aggravated knowing that without Section 7A, our tamariki will have their Māoritanga severed, despite the minister saying this, that there will be cultural components, that there will be cultural elements, as if culture is something you carve up and you compartmentalise, and then you expect that that might be enough culture and custom for the day.
We put some quarters on the wall, and it looks.
Oh yeah,
this looks pretty. This looks all right.
No. You just get the kids to make a poi, maybe teach them a bloody tuti to mine. You'll be right.
We sing Pokari Kariana all the time.
Oh.
You know
what? You're so right, man. Because all of that definitely. I mean, and that's the thing that I found, just even in this part, it's just she's right. I grew up at Rotorua. I went to a school where we did have a lot of cultural aspects, but I didn't grow up with my culture. I didn't have that attachment, and I didn't have that sense of my culture in me until I went and did it myself. So she's 100% correct. It's not, you can't just have it someone be, I'm also not just Maori. I am a multicultural child. I exist in a space that is different from just being Maori or just being Pākehā or whatever the fuck else I am.
Yeah, particularly my middle school and stuff too had a lot of multicultural sort of stuff going around, and tons of Maori decoration, stuff like that. Tons of te reo words used, but I would not call it a Maori school.
Hell no, exactly, and that's what she's really saying there. We'll let her keep going.
Severed line will last generations. What the minister ignores or is ignorant to the fact is that culture is a protective factor.
And just actually, for anyone who's not sure what she means by that, it's actually a psychological protective factor. So there has been a lot of research that shows that culture can play a protective factor, and basically that means you're more resilient and less likely to, have negative impacts from stressors, and less likely to suffer from mental illness and all of those things, because culture is a huge protective factor in the psychology of humans.
I wish that she knew that and would repeat it and think about that. Mr. Speaker, this House already knows what severed lines and broken generations looks like, because the AIC report told us so really clearly, that when you systematically divest and deprive mokopuna Māori of their culture, you make fodder and victims of our children, of families, of whānau. Dare I say, the apology made by the Minister of Education that day is already falling short of its promise to never do it again. In the removal of Section 7AA, the government seek to persist in the abuse and harm of mokopuna in state care, the theft of generations, an experience that many other Indigenous peoples across the globe have endured. Nevertheless, this theft has sparked a new wave of Māori activism. Removing our rights has only united our people. It is our job to serve and to do what is best by our tamariki and mokopuna Māori. Mokopuna Māori are our lifeline. They hold the key for our future as tangata whenua, and while state care continues to threaten their undeniable potential, we know that the return to us will be the right thing to do. Ngā puhi pai at Waitangi turned their back on David Seymour, his party and everything he stands for. We too, Pāti Māori, turn our back on David Seymour, the minister, and insist that they do the right thing and tear the bill up. Kia ora tātou.
I love when she speaks.
Yeah, no, she's lovely.
She's so good.
Powerhouse.
And yeah, so on the back of that, she's actually released a members bill, and I think this is the right. That's why I got to mute it because it's got
It's got
copyright
sexy music
strikes.
for
Yeah,
Valentine.
yeah. So yes, she's announced a members bill. It means basically it's trying to get sovereignty over mokopuna Māori and a huge kaupapa from Te Pāti Māori. So really awesome, and I love the way that she's kind of tied it in as like the next kind of iteration from not one more acre, and now it's not one more mokopuna. Like we've gone from
Was that a marae she was at, by the way? I saw like a some wood carving. It was very cultural.
It's probably
There was some kind of cultural thing. It must be a Maori place. It had Maori stuff.
Oh yeah, no, they've definitely got like tukutuku patterns on the fucking wall in Parliament, of course. I think they've got tukutuku panels in like most places to be like, look, here is a culture, we made one. Look, right? Actually, yes, they have they also have a LGBTQIA tukutuku in the Rainbow Room in Parliament. Actually, it's quite funky looking. It's very pretty, very gay. But yeah, I just wanted to hear her speak because like it was just so powerful, and just the way that she was like, he had people turned their backs on him at Waitangi, and we're doing it again. Just
you mean Waitangi?
Oh, we haven't. Yes, we got that. That's in the memes. That is in the memes. And Waitangi. Actually, speaking of memes, should we have a quick look at some memes? I feel like maybe it's time for some memes. We have 2 unwritten rules here. There you go. That's it.
They do follow.
There we go. So this. Do you want to tell the people what this is?
I was just watching. I was overseas, and I decided I'll watch Christopher Luxon's Waitangi Day message because I'm overseas and I need to experience something Waitangi Day. And this was the auto-gen freaking YouTube subs. They called it Waitangi Day, and I was like, that nothing describes his day more than Waitangi Day because he did not do Waitangi. He did Waitangi, and I think we should dub it from here on out.
Tangy though. I feel like tangy is giving him too much flavor. I'm not gonna lie. Like, yeah. All right. What's our next one? Oh yeah. So we've got some Valentine's Day memes. Actually, I do have some. So this is some of them. We've also got video. We got other memes. So we got "You Are My Destiny, Girl," which I'll be honest, just having to see Brian Tamaki's face instantly puts me off. So maybe don't send this to someone if you actually like them.
I love the before and after though.
Right. Are you a CEO?
Left in the oven too long.
Because I'd like to take you out. Good old Luigi. Luigi Valentines. Are you the treaty principles, Bill? Because I want to tear you up.
Oh,
that's my favorite. That's my favorite. I think that if you actually want to riz someone, use this one. That's all I'm saying. And then we have our creation of the week.
Yay!
Raijin decided to take my nickname for good old Nintendo DS. And actually, I realized I've forgotten to add in the little extra part. But someone pointed out, they were like, "Oh, so if it's Nintendo DS, does that mean that David, Winnie, and Luxon are a Nintendo 3DS?" Haha! Got him! Got him!
Not bad.
Also,
not bad.
I love the little detail here in the corner, just the Atlas ESRB. Chef's kiss on that little detail.
Was that intentional? Was that?
Yes, the whole thing was
Nice.
intentional, right?
I was just making sure that last bit was not an accident.
Oh, I know Raijin put work into this. This is beautiful, and this is why.
Kudos, Raijin. We love you.
It is, yeah, we love you, Rai. And it is actually based off of the Super Mario Brother DS. Like they got the picture. It's all good. It's all beautiful, and I was very stoked to see that. So, thank you guys. Honestly, like when people make funny memes, it just genuinely makes my day. And I go, yay! I'm excited. I get to have a look at this fun, cool new meme with you all. All right. So we've done those memes. We will go into a little bit of a quick fire, like good news segment. Oh, well, we'll do a little bit of quick fire. Yeah, good news, I think. So we've actually got a few different stories. And one of them, surprisingly, actually came out of Tauranga, of all places. So let me just...
Are they changing the parking meters?
Oh, God, no. Do you want to tell the people the reference to that joke?
I don't even remember which city it was.
Isn't it Palmy?
Do you?
Palmy?
It was sort of Palmerston North. They finally, like, there was a news story in RNZ just like, Palmerston North's finally going off coin meters. And I'm like, okay, why is this?
Big news for Palmy. I'm sure Frosty will be stoked that they're not going to have coin parking meters, because I'm sure Frosty never has coins on them. So, but yeah, so I saw this today and I thought, okay, that's a bit weird, a little concerning, but there is a really good element in here, so don't worry. So BOP Regional Council sets guidelines for sale of Port of Tauranga shares, which I actually wasn't aware of. I didn't realize that they had, apparently last year, they had agreed to manage sell downs of its 54.14% shareholding in the port to a minimum of 28%. Their explanation, though, here is that it turns out that they've invested 80% of their funds into one area, which is the port. So that's, I believe, why they're trying to basically take some out so that they can invest them in different areas, since that's not the best practice for intergenerational investment funds for finance bros.
So they haven't invested into the other areas.
Yeah, they've just got most of their stuff is in port shares right now.
Okay, that's odd. I mean, they could.
Yeah.
Still, what if?
So I'm not sure why they made that decision, but there is one key part of the story that I thought was really fucking cool, and I love to see it. Is that they had feedback and consultations, which people obviously submitted to, and there was some split feedback. However, one of the parameters was to provide mana whenua the first opportunity to purchase the shares. And that got me really, really, really excited. Because yes, I am not excited about them selling stuff because that freaks me out. However, if that can go to mana whenua and actually be purchased by mana whenua, because obviously I'm sure there's potentially some, more nuanced details in terms of, I don't know what their coffers look like. But yeah, mana whenua ownership would likely be long-term and reduce the risk of overseas ownership or control, according to Corporate General Manager Matt Taylor's report to the council. Wow, so you're telling me that the report to the council said that if Māori hold on to stuff, it's probably for the best.
So Māori could own the ports. Is that what you're telling me?
Oh, I don't know if we own the whole boards, but
come on.
Good like 20.
That's the secret
maybe?
Plan, though, right? That's
true. I mean, that is usually our agenda, right? We usually want to steal everything, isn't it?
Yeah. It's the long
you're
con.
Right. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
We pretend to be all peace and love, but So.
Yeah. I just thought that was really interesting because, while I was a little bit freaked out and being like, oh my God, why are they selling off asset stuff? Because, however, I'm hoping. So, yes, don't take this as the whole story was the good news story, just that little detail, because we got to take our wins where we can get them, unfortunately.
It's a light at the end of that tunnel that could.
Exactly.
Hopeful.
Like the light at the end of what is it? At the light at the end of this tunnel.
Yeah.
I did it real quickly. You didn't give me warning. But yes, Auckland City Rail Link successfully travels from Waitemata Station, which I just thought was really exciting and cool because trains.
I am excited about this too, as a citizen in this area.
Tell us.
It's been getting built for a while, at least the last year and a half. This train station just down from me. It's just near like the old. I'm not sure if it's going to continue to be the prostitute street, but it used to be. But I don't know. We'll see what happens afterwards. Maybe they'll just get more business. Who knows? But it's going to connect the city in such a better way. Because right now it is quite a hassle. You got to go all the way down to Britomart, and Britomart's like a dead end stop. Even that's got some inconveniences. Like getting over North Shore can be a bit of a nightmare too, with all the buses and stuff. They have to go over the bridge. So if we could expand it more north as well, that would be fantastic. And the more interconnected all this gets, it's great. Like, you know, I just came back from international airport, and it would have been even nicer if there was just a stop like just down from my home, but I had to go into Britomart, take a transfer from there, yada yada. But it's getting there, and it's hopefully gonna be sort of an advertisement maybe for the rest of the country, sort of like, hey, this is how much this sort of can help the community and help the economy as well.
Oh, absolutely. I feel like this is going to increase productivity more than that raising the fucking speed limits bullshit that old Nintendo DS reckons is gonna help increase productivity. Like I mean, this is much more likely to do that.
And no one could say no one uses trains either, because pretty much every time on there, it's pretty full going down to Britomart. So
no,
yeah,
absolutely. And I mean,
the more we can get, the better.
Exactly. I'm so excited to see that. So like definitely excited to see it. And maybe when it opens you can take a train ride and let us know how it goes.
Oh, I'll show everyone.
Train review. Oh my god.
Train reviews.
Oh man. Okay, the autism's getting excited, guys. Sorry. I gotta stay on track.
Pun intended.
I risked it with the train. Oh no. But you know what? I'm gonna take it. And this is actually just a little bit of a kōrero from a rōpū talking about basically how they view kapahaka and their culture, because it just honestly, I think this is just a little bit of what we need to see, especially because also...
Oh, is that one of those Maori war dances I've been hearing about?
Oh, yeah, the war dances, yeah. Like old DS likes to say.
I think the beautiful thing about the kapa for us, it's not about matatini. So matatini is not the pinnacle event for us. It is a vehicle to bring us all together to learn. But so is the regatta, so is tamararo, so is koroneihana. And we're just using regionals and matatini as an opportunity for us to come together to practice freedom in being Māori, to practice excellence in being Māori. And we're practicing that everywhere, not just in terms of our craft and standing on stage. We're practicing that in making our own piupiu. We've got our aunties here that are actually sewing our putties. We've got our whānau out on the water, diving, fishing. We've got gardens here full of kai, and everybody in the kitchen are practicing excellence in whakatipu kai and then cooking it. So it's going from the mara to the table into us. And with all of those things come significant mātauranga. So it's not just about swinging a poi, doing hakas, action songs, any of those things. There's so much more to it. It's about contribution too. So how we can all contribute to what the bigger picture looks like. Like all of the different hapu coming into the kitchen, coming into the marae, they know that they can contribute to the bigger picture like that. It's a symbiotic relationship, eh? So it's not just about us. It's about how we are accountable to one another, looking after one another and doing the thing for one another. That's kotahitanga. The whole thing about toa is it's all about succession planning. So we want to make ourselves redundant. And that means we need our kids to be around to learn, so that when it's time for them to kick up, they can stand and do them really, really well. So it's important that they're here. And we've got some coming through already. So 20 years we've been performing together. All of our babies have come through, and now they're performing with us. And they're better than us. And that's the point, is that they be better than us. And we can't do that without them. To live in this country at the moment costs the earth. Nobody's got time. So we really wanted to make sure that we're being respectful of everybody's time. So the whole whakaaro was that we could do like a hybrid version of using technology as well as kanohi ki te kanohi, kaupapa. We had some Zooms, we had watch parties where we dropped all the items and we gave whakamaramas like kupu, whakairo, the harmonies, everything. As we set up a YouTube channel so our whānau could, in the comfort of their own home, can just come home, learn all their kupu. And the biggest thing was, in our first training, you need to come having learned all the items. The other thing for us is around the selection of the team. So it's really important for us that we didn't go through a rigorous trial process, because that comes with its own politics. And it actually has quite significant impacts on our people's mental health. And I've seen that in my own work, but also spoke to a whole lot of doctors in and around selection time. Depression is a big thing, and anxiety just goes through the roof with a lot of the way our teams conduct selection processes. And I think, well, for me...
What is this communism? Oh.
To practice our culture. So I believe the way we do our selection is the best way to look after everybody's well-being, because it's not mucking with their emotions. Yes, obviously there are issues. Some might feel a little bit disappointed in certain areas when it comes to rows and things like that, but there's less opportunity for people to feel like they're not worthy or not good enough because they're already in the team. So that changed everybody's attitude at Hakas, because nobody is being anxious, because everybody has a spot. The only person you're competing against is yourself, and to get better in your own way with yourself. So your only competition is yourself. And it just really changes the vibe. Everybody is way more free to just perform and just be.
And I love this whole kaupapa. It is just so amazing.
And what we were discussing a little bit earlier about sort of what it means to be in a Māori environment, you know, and it's not just the decoration. It's, you know, it's the sense of community, it's in the culture.
It's the ways of being and knowing.
The ways of being.
And
yes.
Yeah, and that's what it comes down to, and that's why I love just seeing her talk about it.
Honestly, and it looked like so much fun. I want to be there. I want to go here now. Those shirts that we're making, I want to learn to make those.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And like, I just think it's amazing because like we were talking with the Mariamenos stuff earlier, you know, culture, that is the culture. That, you know, learning those things, doing those processes, being a self-sustaining community, and also doing it in a hybrid way. Like, I'm so impressed.
And using new technology, which to some ignoramuses is a little bit of an oxymoron to them. They think being Māori is like living in the 1800s, and you know, it's all traditional, and you sit on the floor, and you know, you don't even play cards or anything. They probably think you just dig grass all day or something.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing is that like there are multiple ways of learning. A lot of Māori learning is just through doing, because you learn so much through doing. That's what she was talking about, you know. Mātauranga, for anyone who wasn't aware of, that's knowledge, you know, that's how you gain your knowledge. Like, you just learn through doing. And I love also the fact that the kaupapa is about actually trying to make sure that you set your mokopuna up so that they can have a better life than you, not this, oh, well, you just get what I dealt with. No, it's like, I want you to thrive. I want to struggle now so that you don't have to later.
And I feel that too, because like self-teaching is, as I've found out in my later years, is what I sort of excel at. I'm much better at pursuing something I'm interested in and pretty much gaining all the knowledge I can on that, or I want to, and you know, pretty much putting all my energy that I've, you know, feel passionate putting into it, and I can just, I've probably learned more than I have in the last, you know, 10 years than the entire, whatever, 13 years I was in high school. Like, you know, it was not to diminish that, you know, a lot of development years there, but still, it's just, you know, it's a completely different style of teaching. And if they tried promoting that more in high school, especially those who might excel at it, I feel like they would, you know, would just be so much better off, you know, and it allows people to follow their passions, you know.
Well, and that's the thing is that, like, you know, I think I struggle with the fact that we live in a society that's built up and where we kind of get forced into certain roles, whereas, more traditionally for Māori, we found what we were good at. It was more about what skills are you good at? What skills can you bring? What is your area? You just go do that. But because of this capitalist, fucking society we've built up, we have to have so many people doing this job, so many people doing that job. And it just does not work because humans aren't like that.
Yeah, and everyone has something to contribute. Like even the lazy guy, that like some lazy people, they can figure out how to do things so efficiently. I kid you not.
Oh, lazy people are some of the most efficient fucking people.
Yeah.
I can figure out some crazy hacks when I really don't want to do something.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is like you learn things when you're trying to, get out of an adverse situation. Even if the adverse situation is, I really don't want to get off my bed, but I want to get that thing over there.
You think the man that invented the lazy boy or the Segway was, freaking fitness freak running around all day? No, that guy was a couch potato.
And he didn't want, he literally is like, a bike, that's too much exercise. I need less exercise and go fast. So yeah, and that's the thing, is it's such a better way of being and learning. And like she even said there, and because she's an ex-psychologist, you literally see the changes because again, community, all those things, they provide us with our very human needs and fulfill those things in a, in the Te Whare Tapawha type model, So it's just, and I love seeing that. And that's the thing is I always look at things like that and go, man, I would love to have grown up with some of that. And honestly, I just get FOMO. I just get sad and I'm like, well, I want to grow up more Māori.
Oh,
but at the same time, I'm just glad that there are kids who get that. While I'm sad I didn't get it, I will never begrudge anyone for having that experience. It's awesome, and I love it for them. All right, should we get to these last few super chats? We've got Ryden for $5. Roses are red. This government has me screaming. David Seymour is the worst human being. Yeah, on. Or you could do roses are red. This government has me screaming. So that's why I'm memeing. That's my one that I'm adding in right now. Then we got Mr. Arvids for $2. Luxon equals spoilt milk. So white tangy wicks. Man, Mr. Arvids, you're so smart. Honestly, I'm so glad you're here. Mr. Arvids again for $2. Hear me out. What if Māori owned it all? /sarcasm. You know what? Take off the slash, yes. That's great.
Actually, going back to that port thing, wouldn't it be? What would be just great is if an iwi or something did buy it and it excelled. I would love that so much.
Well, actually, in the comments here, I started this because apparently Ngāti Toa own about 50 schools across Wellington. So.
Uh-oh.
But also, we have
getting them young guys.
But also, let us remember some of the news that we got out of our kura kaupapa and our Māori skills last year. They did the best academically. We had a kura kaupapa that had 100% pass rate on NCA.
100%.
So, yep, 100%. I heard Hannah was referencing it on a video I was watching of her the other. I'll be honest, I can't remember the rest of what she's talking about right now, but I know for a fact she was spitting some bars.
Yeah, but how was the calculus?
You mean their structured maths?
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to do a couple of last quick things before we finish off for the night. I haven't done a graphic yet because your boy was busy this week. And also, there's not as many submissions left this week. So we're just going to look at the website for funsies. So we've got closing in 3 days. We've got Pie Order, Healthy Futures 3-Day Postnatal Stay Amendment Bill. We've got the Gene Technology Bill. We've got on the 23rd of February, closing on the 23rd of February, the Local Government Order Services Bill. Closing 10th of March, we've got Customs, Levies and Other Matters Amendment Bill. The 27th of March, Māori Purposes Bill. That's new. That wasn't there yesterday. Don't know what that is, Fano, but we'll look into
Yeah,
it.
that's vague.
And 28th of March, Anti-Money Laundering and Counter-Financing of Terrorism Amendment Bill. These last two were only added on, these last three were only added on overnight, because when I looked last night...
Wait, so they're going to stop David Seymour getting money? He's financed terrorism, right? I'm pretty
allegedly,
sure that's what he is.
Allegedly, maybe. Well, we can't say
Yeah.
that for sure, but yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yes, we will definitely. Oh, okay, we're definitely gonna have to look
feel
into
the
this
terror.
one, Fano. Oh, that's gonna be my homework for later. Yay! I love
Right.
when I get fucking submission homework. That is
Yay, on a
definitely my
Friday.
favorite thing. Right. All right. So we've got last couple of things to watch. Sorry. This one. Yeah, we'll go greens. We'll go greens first, because we've had a lot of Valentine's Day memes, and I'm personally here for the memes. I mean, it's just another fucking day, to be fair, but I'm in it for the memes. So, Labour is red, National is blue, but unlike those guys, the Greens stand for you. Which I think is cute. I need you like kids need quality school lunches.
Oh, that's my fucking face every time I watch Parliament now. Just
Yeah. Yeah, that to be fair, that is, I feel like that face could be used as a reaction for most things when I'm doing BHN stuff.
Did you hear how concerned? Like, I think it was Winston was just like so worried that she had the lunches there as props. Like, we can't have those props here. Even Jerry Brown was like, well, visual aids. I think just calm down.
Shows us. Are you a rental warrant of fitness? Because I'd like to take you home. And could you imagine? Governments are temporary, tertiity is forever, like our love for you. And I just love this one. This one's one of my favorite ones, because like Tiana going like this, I don't know, it just gets me. And then this could be us, which I love this one too. They're so cute. And then finally,
yay!
Tax the rich. That is the ultimate. This is the Valentine's Day message that we are leaving on. Tax
that IRD
the rich.
report from like 2-3 years ago still hasn't changed, guys. They still get a lot of money.
Yeah. And then we've got another set of memes, because we've got a lot of memes. Because you know what? This government makes me need them. Memes are currently like, they're like my medicine basically at the moment. All right, let's restart that one. So we got jobs, ferries, the health system, climate action, world-leading smoke-free legislation, first home grants, half-price public transport, fair pay agreements. So you remember how you asked earlier what they've actually done?
Yep.
I'm going to go back to that again. This is some of the stuff they've actually done. I've been loving the memes. Oh, that's right. I've missed a meme, guys. I missed a meme. How dare. I forgot a link.
Hey, I'm Chris. You're a good-looking bald man. I've got an awful lot of real estate. So I run a $1.5 billion company. I've got a big job. How do I want my life to count? What do I want it to be about? What am I going to become? How do I want my life to count? Guys have much bigger hands, so they need stuff to sort of physically grab. Understand male needs. Hey, I'm Chris. How do I want my life to count? Guys have.
And it gets better. They gave us the actual dating profiles.
Oh.
David, just add me a bio. Just add me on Snapchat. Likes privatizing healthcare. Dislikes Te or Waitangi, Winston Peters. Interests, property investors. Chris, bio, wealthy and sorted. Likes, landlords. Dislikes, dinosaurs. Interests, Christopher Luxon.
That's right. He didn't think dinosaurs existed or some shit. Wasn't that a thing?
Yeah, well, because I mean, there are some Christians who don't believe in dinosaurs, and he's Christian.
I
isn't
think he went back on it and he's like, of course they're real, but it was one of those wishy-washy events.
Okay, Winston, bio. Just remember, this isn't my first rodeo. Looking forward to meeting you. Likes, the 1900s. Dislikes, David Seymour, new migrants, Mexican food. Interests, tobacco industry.
You could have put trains under the likes as well.
Yeah, you could have. But I just, honestly, I was watching that while I was waiting for my tattoo because that shit was just hilarious. Anyway, do you have?
He looks so different with the glasses, by the way. It's
weird. I mean, to be fair, I think that that video is yonkers old, so he's quite young in that too. So.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Oh, I'm not sure if maybe someone in the credits.
It was from like his salesman days or something.
Yeah, it is from his. It's when he was, because that's why he's talking about men having big hands. Because I think he was it men's care, like self-care products, like whether it was like a lotion or I think it was one of those type of things, you know.
I don't know.
Yeah, all I know is it was. Yeah, I've seen the full video before. It's quite funny to watch, actually.
Maybe he worked for Durex. He's a giant cock.
I mean, like, he literally looks like one, so you could definitely do that. I 100% think you could do that. All right. Do you have anything that you want to that you got for us that you wanted to show, or are we?
No, I don't have anything particular. Well, I did have something in tangent to a story that you were going to mention. So if you're still going to go over it, I don't know.
I mean, it was more if you've got anything quick, but otherwise,
I didn't have anything prepared this time, unfortunately.
Nah, that's cool. I mean, we're
too busy
already
holidaying.
Late anyway, so I think we might as well hit it with the end of the show. Just a reminder to everyone that if you're in Wellington, Fringe Festival starts tonight. You've got 2 weeks of Fringe, and it's still Pride up in Tamaki Makaurau, I believe.
Are we still going to do the Simon Watts story, by the way?
Oh, I don't think we have time for it.
You don't think we have time?
Look at it later. Nah, yeah.
Damn. Oh, well.
We'll definitely look at that at a later point, though, because there's also some... there's a bunch of other stuff that we can look at.
That's the only thing I had anything on, but you're right. I would go too long even.
Yeah, that's what she said. All right. Okay, let's double check. I'm making sure I haven't left anything. No more super chats to look at. Awesome. All right, Whānau. Well, thank you for joining us on a special Valentine's Day Friday show with old Sexy Rogers. Let's out.
Help us settle a debate, whether it be thoughtful or funny, even if we're all creatures of hate. It's a fine line that we're walking together. For better, push aside the temptation to berate. Let's take a note of the corners we stand in. As many points as the hairs on my chinny chin chin. When the news that we're watching is hairy, knowing all the things that we need to be wary of. Like the rich have their hand out for rewards, while the many have to work out what they can't afford. And the rest of us ain't paying attention, or maybe have questions.
What I do?
You ruined it.
Vetting peas from the rice and the mice from the rats, and picking and choosing a war path to run, linking ourselves with the hill to die on. It's gotta come down to a welcoming vibe with an A and a self and a higher in mind. All heavily either this way or that, and we'll be analyzed by butchery and pat. With the evil in the world trying to mess with your head, and you're sitting on the couch, you're thinking chivalry's dead. Each night, 2 nights, they're gonna sing you to bed. It's Big Hairy News.
Whānau, thank you so much for joining us on
Peace and love.
News. Yes, peace and love on a Valentine's. Thank you for spending your Friday evenings with us. Is there anything that you'd like to leave the people with tonight, Rogers?
Evil seeks to maintain power by suppressing the truth. I just quoted Spock. There you go.
Hell yeah. Oh, fucking live long and prosper. And ain't that the
Live long and
fucking truth?
prosper, everyone.
Exactly. Let's keep sharing these stories, keep letting people know and building this community, because community is where we're going to get it going, guys. So from all of us at BHN, thank you for joining us this week. And as always, keep cool to after school and love you all. Stay safe. Bye.
Night all.